Assassin's Creed Liberation came out on the PlayStation Vita 2 years ago, the series' ambition and scope seemed watered down and constrained, despite Sony's powerful hardware. Sadly, seeing it on a bigger screen has only spotlighted its lackluster design. If before it came off like a favorite shirt that got shrunk in the wash, here it looks like someone tried to stretch it back out by wearing it. It's definitely the best way to experience Aveline's story, but after Assassin's Creed 3 and Black Flag, Liberation looks and plays like a Bush League imitation.
Thank you. Where on earth did you come from?
More importantly, where will you go? To New Orleans? I can arrange for employment.
Liberation HD can, at its best moments, look like it belonged on the PS3 and 360 from the start, particularly when you roam New Orleans in the comely glow of daylight. Building textures and lighting effects got a lot of love, but not nearly as much was lavished on things like water effects, foliage, or skin textures. This visual inconsistency made it difficult to ever truly lose myself in Liberation's world the way its unique setting begged me to. These growing pains are the least of its problems, though. Liberation was rough and buggy when it hit Vita, and none of these imperfections have been smoothed over. Guards still get confused about how to navigate the environment and fail to credibly respond to you when you're slinking about. The free-run system is even more prone to freaking out than it is in other Assassin's Creed games, sending you up a wall you didn't want to scale or down a bottomless pit to an infuriating early grave. And my god, the accents. Between the bad voice acting, the poor lip syncing, and the cheesy writing, some of these cutscenes are ready-made for riff tracks.
We offer two choices.
You give up the river?
Or we take the river.
Or you suffer before you die.
Three choices then.
As it stands, Assassin's Creed is already a busy melting pot of different mechanics and ideas, and of those, Liberation's designers unwisely chose to place a lot of emphasis on what hasn't worked for the series. You can look forward to a lot of those unfun trailing missions, as well as plenty of checkpoint-free missions where you fail instantly if you're seen even once. There's no living with your mistakes or creatively dealing with the complications that arise, just droning repetition until you don't make any. That'd be fine if the objectives were a fun challenge, but they're not. Mercifully, playing perfectly by Liberation standards is easy, because with rare exception, all the missions are narrow and straightforward. The number of banal fetch quests boggles the mind. Around half of your 12-hour life as an assassin is spent running from point A to point B and talking to, picking up, or interacting with someone or something. That's it. You can at least partially thank the costume-driven persona system for that. The kernel of this mechanic has potential, asking you to dress up in different guises to tackle missions in a variety of ways. The problem is that none of the possibilities are fun or fleshed out. The slave persona lets you blend in by carrying crates around or standing by other slaves, but is otherwise functionally similar to the regular old assassin's persona. The high-class lady persona is the worst of all, though, removing nearly all combat options and the entire free-run system, while adding the problem of random thugs pestering you as you walk the streets. It undermines what could have and should have been a liberating subversion of Assassin's Creed's mechanics, as well as racism and sexism, cutting off possibility instead of creating it. Seeing an interesting character like Aveline flounder through this game all over again hurts. But Assassin's Creed Liberation HD is just lacking in too many areas to make it a success. It simply dies by 1,000 tiny cuts. Its craft is sloppy and its design remains shackled by ill-conceived ideas and the limitations of the platform it hails from. It's the definitive version of a game that had very little going for it in the first place. For more on Assassin's Creed Liberation HD, you're already in the right place, IGN.
Ah!